Now we will start by the last part in this chapter, oscilloscope. What is an oscilloscope? How can I use an oscilloscope? What is the difference between oscilloscope and other devices? First of all, if I want to measure the voltage across this battery or any other components, I can use voltmeter, and I think you are probably familiar with voltmeter or an oscilloscope. What is an oscilloscope? What is the difference between oscilloscope and voltmeter? Like voltmeter, the oscilloscope, which measures the voltage, should be connected in parallel. But unlike the voltmeter, the oscilloscope will visualize the voltage. I can see the voltage. I can see the waveform, the shape of the voltage. Why does the voltage have different form? As we mentioned, we have two types of electricity, DC voltage and AC voltage. DC means the voltage is constant in value and in sign. While in AC, the voltage changes the value. It starts from 0, increase to reach the maximum, then decreases to reach the 0, then reverse the sign, and so on. So, to see the variation of the voltage with respect to time, I should use an oscilloscope. What are the parts of an oscilloscope? First of all, we have the power button on off. Second, we have the screen. The screen is where the graph representing the variation of the voltage with respect to time is displayed. This graph is called oscillogram. Let us now discover in details the screen. In the screen, like any other graph paper, we have an x-axis and y-axis. X-axis here represent the time. The horizontal axis here represent the time. And the y-axis or vertical axis represent the volt. So this screen will represent the variation of the voltage with respect to time. Each axis is divided into division. We have divisions on the x-axis and divisions on the y-axis. Like any graph paper, you should choose the scale. Each division, how many seconds contains the x-axis, or each division, how many volt contains the y-axis. These scales exist in the oscilloscope, and now we will talk about them. The scale on the x-axis, يعني the x of time, is called horizontal sensitivity or time base or sweeping. It expresses, or it gives us an idea and each division على x-axis how many seconds contain. The unit is second per division. Note that we have two channels on the oscilloscope. What do I mean by channels? If I want to measure the voltage across a battery using a voltmeter, I should connect this voltmeter parallel to the battery. If I want to measure the voltage across a lamp, I should disconnect the voltmeter from the battery and reconnect it into a lamp. But in oscilloscope, no. I can measure at the same time two voltage. The voltage across the battery. So I connect the battery على the first channel and the voltage across the lamp, for example, and I connect the lamp parallel على 10 channel. Each channel has its own scale called vertical sensitivity. يعني the scale على vertical axis. It means this division how many volt contains. The unit is volt per division. Okay? Now, I will repeat some ideas. An oscilloscope is an instrument used to measure the voltage, to measure and visualize. I can see the shape of the voltage with respect to time. The oscilloscope is a graph displaying. I obtain a graph. This graph is called oscillogram. This graph has an x-axis or time axis and y-axis or voltage. The oscilloscope has two terminals. Positive terminal, or called phase or channel, and represented by this arrow. Negative terminal, or called ground or mass, and represented by this shape. Ground or mass هو ذاته الكم بالvoltmeter. بالvoltmeter we mentioned that the voltmeter reads from V to COM. Here the oscilloscope reads from phase to ground. Now please note صغيرة إنه we notice that the x-axis or the x-axis, sorry, and the y-axis is divided into division. Each division is divided into subdivision. يعني بلاحظ هاي الديفيجن مقسمة مثلا على الواي اكسس مقسمة ل 5 subdivisions 5 dashes. طب كل داش قد ايه قيمتها؟ If I want to say انه each dash is equal to 0.1 like a ruler, look, if I want to start from 0, this is 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4. Oh, I didn't reach 1. So each step, it's not equal to 0.1. Please pay attention. Each subdivision, each dash, each small dash, each step, small step, it's equal to 0.2. Why? 0.2, 0.4, 0.6, 0.8, and 1. So, for example, if my graph is like this, I have a big division, which equal to 1, and a small subdivision, which equal to 0.2 divisions. So, I obtain 1.2 divisions. Now, how can I connect the oscilloscope across the battery, the lamp, or any component? The oscilloscope is connected in parallel. This is the red wire who will phase, who will plus, while black wire who will mass, who will minus. This is the symbol of my connection. The phase here, the phase is connected to the plus of the battery. This is the symbol of the phase is connected to the plus of the battery, and the black one is connected, يعني هو ground is connected to the minus. This is the symbol of the ground. Now, for example, I choose my scale على vertical, يعني vertical sensitivity is equal to 0.2 division. It means إنه each division is equal to 0.2 volt. Now I connect the oscilloscope across the battery and I observe a luminous line displaced to two divisions. So my real voltage, my measured voltage, is equal to 0.2 times 2, 0.4 volt. This is the formula used to calculate the voltage. Y represent the displacement, la luminous line, أو upward أو downward. SV, vertical sensitivity, والU هي measured voltage. Now, here I connect the phase on the plus of the battery and the mass on the minus of the battery. This is the symbol of my connection. Since I have respected the polarity of the oscilloscope will give me a positive reading. First of all, we said that the oscilloscope will read from phase to ground. So, in this case, the oscilloscope will read UPN. Since I have respected the polarity of the oscilloscope, يعني أنا وصلت الفيز على البلس والجراوند على الماينس, the oscilloscope will give me a positive reading. هاي positive reading بالoscilloscope means إنه a luminous line moves upward على central axis. طلعت طلوع هيدا luminous line. هيدا means إنه I have positive reading لأنه I have respected the polarity of the oscilloscope. بالopposite case, if I connect the positive born of the oscilloscope يعني الفيز وصلتها على الماينس, and the negative born اللي هي الجراوند or الماس وصلتها على البلس. This is the symbol of my connection. So in this case the oscilloscope will read UNP and it will give me a negative reading. Negative reading بالoscilloscope means that the line will move downward from the central axis. Now we will talk about sweeping buttons. What is the sweeping in the oscilloscope? Sweeping buttons control the horizontal motion of the spot. شو يعني spot? يعني now I will talk about spot. Sweeping will control the motion with respect to the top.